Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have some more Dollar Tree farmhouse Christmas DIYs for you. Please stick around and watch the entire video. I know that a lot of you guys cannot get the mini chip brushes that I use. I have purchased some packages or some packs of them rather for you guys. I'm gonna split them up. Each winner will get 2, and there's 8 in a pack, so there will be 8 winners. So you have to watch the whole video through, and throughout the video I'm gonna leave little words in like random clips, and by the end of the video you guys will have a saying. You have to leave the saying in the comments down below, and whoever gets it, the first 8 people, I will pick at random next Friday, so a week from today. Then I will pick the winners and I will announce it on my community tab, and then you just have to send me your email and I will send you guys over the chip brushes. So I know that was long-winded, but I did just want to explain the rules and what you guys have to do. So with all that being said, let's jump right into today's DIYs. Okay guys, so to start off, I take this white spray paint and a tray from Dollar Tree, and my husband was nice enough to let me borrow his trailer because on this particular day it was raining outside. So I just give this a light coat of spray paint. I let that dry and then I go in with another coat. So while that is drying, then I take these thumbtacks and my metal cutters and I just take a bunch of them and cut the part where you stick it into something off. I don't even know what you want to call that, but the pin part of it, you want to cut all those off. And I didn't count them, but I probably did about 50, but don't quote me on that. I'm not really a good judge. Because when you cut these, you're not going to get it flush with the back of this thumbtack. Hot glue is not going to work, and also because of the spray paint, it would not stick anyway. So I did just take some Titebond and I just put it all the way around and then let it set up just a little bit for like a few minutes, and then I put my tacks down. And I had my little helper here. She was so excited to help me, and I just let her do a few, and she was so excited to help, and she wanted to be on Mom's video. So anyway, once I had those down and I let it dry for about 10 minutes, I went in with some white Waverly chalk paint and I just went over those thumbtacks. Once that dried, then I take some antique wax and my dry brush and my chip brush and I go over the thumbtacks again, and this is just going to make it look weathered and rustic or rusty. You can also do like Mod Podge and cinnamon, but I didn't want the cinnamon all over the place, so that's why I did not do it that way. But once that dried, I took my Chalk Couture stencil. It says, "Oh, Christmas Tree Farm," and I just love this stencil, you guys. I wasn't too sure what I was going to use it for, so I figured out that it would fit perfectly as long as I didn't do the bottom lines like on the side and underneath of the truck. So when you're using Chalk Couture, you kind of want to do one color and then do another color. So I start off with my black and I just apply it, and then once it's applied, I pull the excess off, put it back in the jar, and then I go to another color. So once I'm done transferring it, I did just pull it off, and look how absolutely gorgeous this is, you guys. This is why I love Chalk Couture, because it's so quick and so easy to get such a detailed high-end look. Now, I could transfer this on with graphite paper, but you're never going to get detail like that using graphite paper. So I will leave the link to this down below, but I did make a simple bow and I glued that to the top. So moving on to the next project, I take this little calendar from Dollar Tree. I take the plastic off and the hanger. Once I have the hanger off, then I go ahead and I take the words and the numbers off, and I took my staple remover and I took off the hanger because it's just held on by these really small staples, and I took the hangers off that the words and the numbers were on as well. Next, I take my wood panels from Arteza, and I also I had these leftover dowels from a different project, so I just glue them to the bottom of our little calendar because this is such a thin little decor piece. I knew that it would not be easy to glue this to the top of the wood panel, so I just kind of wanted to give it some support. So once I had those glued down to the little calendar, then I just take my hot glue and I glue that to the top so that the calendar is flush with the wood panel. Next, I take my chalkboard sticker from Arteza as well, and I just measure out the length that I need, and then I cut it off the roll. You guys, this is a humongous roll. I am going to be doing a coffee bar for my best friend using this. If that's something you would like to see, let me know in the comments down below. So once I have it cut out, then when you're using something like this, you always want to start at the top and just peel back just a little bit, and then take a card or anything really that's flat on the edge like a card, and as you're pulling it, then you want to smooth it out. If you see any bubbles, just pull it back up a little bit, flatten out the bubbles, and then lay it back down. I then just flip it over, and in the corners I cut a square out, and basically you wrap this like you're wrapping a present. So you just cut it so that it'll lay flat on the back, and you definitely want to have excess so that it holds it really tightly, because if you just have a little bit going over, then sometimes it tends to want to pop up. So I always give plenty of room so that it stays taut. I then take my red paint pen from Arteza, and because these numbers are pink and this is a Christmas project, then I did just go over them with my red paint pen. I did want to mention also that my camera is acting funny, and there's a bunch of clips that aren't in here, but I did cut more of the shape of these, and I did add more numbers because there wasn't enough numbers to have like 55, or they're literally numbers 0 through 9. So if you want to make this project, then I definitely recommend to just take some cardstock, trace it, cut it out, and then write extra numbers on it. But anyway, I took a little tag and I printed off days until Christmas. So for the tag, I just used my graphite paper to transfer days, and then at first I used chalk to transfer until, and I could tell that it wasn't sticking as good, so I did end up using the graphite paper for the Christmas, and I could actually see it. So if you're doing this project, then don't worry about using the chalk on the back of the lettering. You can just go right in with your graphite paper. And I did get this graphite paper from Arteza as well. Obviously, you guys, I love their art products. They're just so, number one, aesthetically pleasing, and number two, really, really high quality. There's always a link in the description box if you guys want to get yourself some. But anyway, once I had everything transferred over, then I did take my black paint pen. I went over days, I went over Until in my white paint pen and Christmas in my red. You will have to do 2 coats though. So next I just took this truck ornament from Dollar Tree. I painted the truck white, and then I painted the tree with my Moss Waverly chalk paint. I then went in with Fern and just kind of gave it some highlighting, and then I painted the trees the exact same way, and the trees are also ornaments from Dollar Tree. I then just took these little star stickers that I got from Dollar General, I believe, and I stuck 2 to the top of the Christmas trees on either side. I go in with some ink Waverly chalk paint and I go over the tires, and then I go into the middle with some white Waverly chalk paint. Once I had my truck finished, then I take my chip brush and some ink Waverly chalk paint and I go around the days tag, and then I also go around all of the letters or number. I keep saying that, letters tags. No, Melissa, it's not a letter tag, it's a number tag. Duh. Anyway, I go all the way around the numbers tags as well, just to give it some dimension and make it stand out a bit more. And then I take my chip brush and I go around the sign with some white Waverly chalk paint. Once I do around the sign, then I do the edges of the trees. I thought that it gave it a nice look, like kind of like snow on the edges, so I really like that part. And then I take a really tiny brush and I give the lettering some shadowing. So for the red Christmas, I go in with some white Waverly chalk paint, and then for the Until, I go in with some red. I think it's crimson Waverly chalk paint. And last but not least, to finish this off, I just glue the ornaments down with some hot glue. And you guys, this looks so high end. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. As usual, which one was your favorite at the end of the video, but I can't ever choose, so I'm not even going to say which is my favorite. But you guys, I'm so glad that I can do this giveaway for you guys. I know that it's not much, but I just do these kinds of things because I know that you guys always ask about them and are looking for them. If you do not win the giveaway, you can get them right off Plaid website. I used to get them from Walmart, but I haven't seen them in a while, so right now they're on sale. So if you want to get them now, that's up to you, or if you want to try to win the giveaway and wait, that's up to you as well. So moving on to the next project, I take these 2 Believe signs from Dollar Tree. Again, I take the hanger off with my staple remover, and then I flip them around to the side with the Believe on it, and then I just take some large popsicle sticks and glue them together with some hot glue. And then once I have all my popsicle sticks laid out on the back to hold this together, I do occasionally push it together while I'm gluing just to make sure that you have it nice and tight. And then I take my finger sander, which is always linked in my Amazon favorites, and I just sand off the parts where the staples were in the back of this. So once I sanded it, then I just go over it with some white Waverly chalk paint, and I do not give it a really thick coat. I like the look of the background showing through because it kind of reminds me of weathered wood. So if you like to give it a good coat, that's up to you, but this is my personal preference. So once the paint dried, then I just took this quilter's ruler, I think it's called. I don't know, don't quote me on it, but I like this because you can get really straight lines. So the edges of these boards kind of look like wood, so wherever one little part was bigger or smaller than the next, then I just made lines to make those pieces look like wood. Once I did that, I just went in with my pencil and drew dots on each, again to make it look like wood, like little nails in the wood, and then I went over those with my black paint pen from Arteza. I then just take this truck from Dollar Tree, and it's one of the ones from like the Harvest collection, and then I just cut the pumpkins off of it. I take it outside and spray it with my hammered spray paint. And then I also cut off like the little bed of the truck because I wanted to make this an interchangeable sign. So I just take my skinny sticks and I measure out the pieces. So I did 10 altogether because we're going to be making 5 of these. So I just cut all of those down and then I glued them all together. And I guess I missed the clip where I was gluing them. Like I said, my computer or my camera is acting funny, but anyway, so I took 2 circles and cut out eggs. I ended up cutting a 3rd egg, and then with those wooden tags I cut out little flower pots, and then the stars I just cut those stars down to make them smaller. So for the little flowers, I had those in a pack of shapes as well as the smaller star, and then I took a Christmas tree ornament from Dollar Tree. I painted it with some Moss Waverly chalk paint and then went in with some ink to give it some dimension. And then all the other ones I didn't show it just because you can paint these however you like, whatever colors, you use your imagination, but I did want to show for the flower pots. I did want to make them look like terracotta pots, but I didn't have the right color. So I first went in with gold, and then I went in with some truffle Waverly chalk paint, and then I took a little tiny dab of orange, and then I went over it again. So once I had everything painted, then I took a skewer, I cut down little tiny pieces, glued them to the back of my pots, and then I just glued my little flowers to the top of the skewer. At this point, I would dry brush everything if you're going to. I ended up dry brushing after I had everything assembled to the little bed of the truck, like I usually do, because I'm just so excited to put it together that I forget to dry brush. So anyway, I just start gluing the pieces down to the bed of the truck, and I just did this like so that the pieces were touching the bottom, but if you do this, you can really do it any way you like. So anyway, I just glue them together with some hot glue, and I made sure that none of the pieces were going to like touch the back of the truck or the bottom of the truck so that it would sit nicely in the back of the truck. So here I'm just testing them all out to make sure that they're going to fit, and then I take my truck and my natural sponge with some Elephant Waverly chalk paint, and I just dab all the way around the truck. So once I did that, then I just took my white Waverly chalk paint and did the same thing. And I always go a little bit lighter with the white because, as I always say, the elephant is going to tone that spray paint down, and then the white is going to make it look like the galvanized metal. Once I did that, then I just take some ink Waverly chalk paint and I go around the tires, and I leave the hubcaps the galvanized metal look. And then once I did that, then I went in again with my ink Waverly chalk paint and my chip brush, and once again I dry brushed all the way around the truck just to bring out those details. If you can see here, before you dry brush, you can't really see the fenders and, you know, like, again, all the little details. So I love to bring all those out, and dry brushing is the perfect way to do that. Next, I just take my antique wax and I just randomly go around places to make it look like rust. If you guys have been around for any amount of time, then you already know this technique. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Melissa, and I love to do trucks. How about you? Anyway, after I do my little rust, again, you can use like Mod Podge and cinnamon, but it's a mess, you guys. I didn't feel like dealing with all that. I finally got my she shed, you guys. It'll be delivered next week, and then there's a lot of work to be done. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see the process of doing the inside of my she shed to be my little craft shack. Anyway, moving on to the project again. I dry brush once again all the way around the sign, and then I did print out welcome. I'll leave the information in the description box of the font and the font size, so that if you guys want to recreate this, you can. I'm pretty sure I got this font off of defont.com. I'll also leave that information in the description box, and it was a free font. So once I had it printed off, then I transfer it onto our sign with my Arteza graphite paper, and then I go over it with my paint pen, my black paint pen, again from Arteza, and I go over that wording. Okay guys, so now for the fun part, putting it all together. So I kind of just lay my truck down and see where I would like it to be. Oh, I forgot to mention that I did paint another one of those little stars from the shapes with my Arteza gold, and then I glued it to the top of the tree. I glued the truck down, and then I took these Velcro little dots, and I started by placing the one side down on my sign, and then for the other ones I just placed the other part of the Velcro onto the part on the sign, and then I laid my piece down so that it could fit perfectly. So here I'm just showing you how gorgeous this is to change out for every season. You can get creative with this and do hearts and all kinds of different stuff. That way you can keep this up all year round. And if you do want to hang it, just glue a sawtooth hanger or a D-hook to the back. But I'll be having this on a shelf, so I didn't need to do that. But anyway, last but not least, this one is so quick and easy, you're not going to believe it. All you have to do is take one of these little houses from Dollar Tree. You get the scrapbook paper that you like, trace it out, cut it out, put it in the back, put it in your little house with a glue stick or any kind of glue. I had this stake from Walmart and I love the truck on it, so I just pulled the truck off. It was only 98 cents. I took 2 Jenga blocks, glued them together, glued that to the back of our little truck, and then glued that down. And then I just made a simple bow. I'm going to show you guys how I do this bow because it's so easy. You're not even going to believe it if you don't know how to do this. But you just take the ribbon that you like, you fold it over on itself 3 times or 2 times, and then you cut another longer piece for your tails, and then you pinch it in the middle, take some jute, tie it in the back, cut the excess off, and then you just fluff up your bow and then cut dovetails or cut it diagonally on the ends. It's totally your preference and up to you. So once I had my little bow made, and I did get this ribbon from Walmart. I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions because it's got trucks on it, but I think it was like $7.98 because it's a really big roll, and then you just glue that to the top. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. If you're going to enter into the giveaway, don't forget that you have to be subscribed. Leave the saying down below. Give this video a big thumbs up. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you're not entering the giveaway, I ask that if you guys have these chip brushes, don't enter the giveaway so that people who don't have them have a chance to use them and craft with them. Like I said, I love doing little things like this for you guys. You guys bring so much joy and purpose to my life. You have no idea. I love you guys to the moon and back. You guys are my family. You guys are important, and if nobody told you today, you're absolutely gorgeous, and I love you. So with all that being said, again, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your family and friends if you think they would enjoy it. I'll leave a link to my Chalk Couture site down below, as well as the transfer that I used in this video. There's also a bunch of other links down there. If you guys want to support my channel, then just by shopping my links, it will help me out. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.